गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थित तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। So yesterday I had my professor had called me, and he is also quite a spiritually oriented. I think Chaitali knows him, Dr. Hanmantappa, dermatology senior professor. So I just
Yes,
mentioned that
ma'am.
we are discussing, yeah. So I was just mentioning that we are discussing Bhagavad Purana and Bhagavad Gita. Very beautifully it says, and we all know, but I mean, sometimes we know things, but when somebody says it, it is more, impactful. It says, Madam, Bhagavad Gita is entirely psychology. Bhagavad Purana is psychology, bhakti. Mainly it is bhakti. But Bhagavad Gita changes your psyche tremendously. Today's world, no, there are so many issues we are facing as described in Bhagavad Purana. Actually, we keep discussing in Bhagavad Purana, Kali Yuga is a kind of deterioration from the previous yugas, because it once upon a time, this land, I don't say India per se, when humans lived on this land, when there was civilization, it was extremely, highly cultured, highly civilized, and as per the creators, planning, when Kali enters, many things get disturbed. But that doesn't mean that there are always people of, who commit crimes or adharmis, what we call. It's not like that. Otherwise, things wouldn't be going on. We wouldn't be so comfortable speaking to each other like this online. So many things would have developed. But along with, on one side, there is a tremendous growth in human intelligence, and comfort zone has increased. Worldwide, the economy has improved. With that come lot of physical and mental health issues for which Bhagavad Gita can be a great, you know, uh, source of counseling, or you can say it's a great gift by Lord Krishna. We just have to look into the depths and understand. And as Jayachandra and I were discussing before we started the session, it is an individualized therapy. In medicine, we are calling precision medicine nowadays, because modern medicine is more generalized compared to Ayurveda. So here we say we should understand the human individual tendencies, individual lifestyle, and whether he can tolerate medications or not. And we have to tailor make the treatment modalities to suit his or her requirement. That's called precision medicine. So Bhagavad Gita, surprisingly, it is so individualized. And just now we were discussing, and it is so individualized that to the same person at different stages of your life, it gives different solutions which is apt for that particular situation, and for that particular stage of your life, particular condition, maybe you're normal, healthy, diseased, any type, anything you open. And if we have shraddha, we should have that faith and inquisitiveness to learn more, then it can be a good source which can make us healthier in terms of mind and the body. And as we know, the body is required. So before I start with regular shlokas, I want to make start with few tips for tips which can be linked with Bhagavad Gita. So physical fitness is extremely important for any kind of achievement, including this spiritual growth. But it is the body listens to the mind. So Bhagavad Gita and its associated Vedas, Upanishads, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, all this, if we can combine, we can get a holistic health. And mind rules actually. If you see, there is Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. 5 sheets, they say, which exist in our body. Manomaya Kosha is central. We cannot ignore the mind. Mind has got extraordinary power. On one hand, it can take you totally into the worldly affairs. Just internal, if it changes the direction, goes inwards and listens to our intellect and the Paramatma, Shivatma who resides within us, it can take us to a higher level. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita plays a very, very vital role in modulating or, in changing our perception, so much so that if we start implementing step by step, little every day or little every year also, little in this Janma also, it goes a long way for our evolution. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita is targeting the central mind and its associated allied sheets, I should say, or allied areas which decide our growth, not only in this Janma, in the entire journey of this soul. So with that, we start. Today we are going to complete chapter 4, 32. We have finished 31, 32 to 42 actually. एवं बहुविधा यज्ञा वितता ब्रह्मणे मुखे कर्म कर्मजान् विद्धितान् सर्वान् एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्षसे श्रेयान् द्रव्यमयात् यज्ञात् ज्ञानयज्ञः परन्तप सर्वकर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनः तत्त्वदर्शिनः यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव येन्यभूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव वृजिनं सन्तरिष्यसि यथैधांसि सामधो यथैद्वांसि सामद्धोऽग्निः just check the pronunciation. यथैत्वांसि समिद्धोऽग्निः भस्मात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन यथैत्वांसि समिद्धोऽग्निः भस्मसात् कुरुतेऽर्जुन ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते तथा न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रमिह विद्यते तत्स्वयं योगसंसिद्धः कालेनात्मनि विन्दति. श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति अज्ञश्च अश्रद्धानश्च अज्ञश्च अश्रद्धानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परो न सुखं संशयात्मनः योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणं ज्ञानसंच्छिन्न संशयम् आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय तस्मात् अज्ञानसम्भूतं हृत्संज्ञानासीनात्मनः चित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आतिष्ठ उत्तिष्ठ भारत चित्त्वैनं संशयं योगम् आतिष्ठ उत्तिष्ठ भारत. So that completes iti jnana karma sannyasa yogo nama chaturthodhyayah. So that completes the fourth chapter. So here he says, in the previous session we have discussed about different types of yajna, if you remember, no? They say you can yajna means, he says, every action. This whole chapter is understanding the deeper meaning of karma. Previous chapter was karma yoga. This is jnana yoga. Jnana karma sannyasa yoga. Jnana karma sannyasa yoga. Understanding the knowledge, spiritual knowledge that is reached because of our work action. Krishna emphasizes in the beginning itself that karma or action or the activities that we are performing is actually higher than the pure jnana marga, because he says through karma, through your actions, you can get the true knowledge. What is that knowledge we are all seeking for? We are all seeking not for the book knowledge, we are seeking for the wisdom. We are seeking for the wisdom which is very rational and which appeals to our mind and gives us peace of mind without any turbulences. And then it makes us wiser, more mature, mentally mature, emotionally strong, increasing our emotional quotient, making us less, sensitive in the true sense, but not unnecessarily emotional, helping us to withstand lot of stresses which come as a, part of our day-to-day activities. So the action which we do will lead us to all these benefits, provided we perform them in the form of yajna. And Krishna says that is the way to perform your activities. So perform, in the previous chapter also he has told, and here he says that you have to, when you perform the actions as yajna, that becomes a very good offering. And people perform different types of yajna. Some people do self-restraint. They sacrifice their sense organs. That means they control. Actually, I wanted to make that very clear. Self-restraint means we sacrifice the organs of hearing, sense objects into sense organs into mind. That means we control. Control means we give up certain preferences. We give up our attachment to, listening to film songs, or watching, as I said, movies for long hours, or listening to gossip, chit-chatting for long hours, because we realize that it is not going to be of any benefit. A person who is wiser, he starts sacrificing them. He starts controlling his the compelling desire to yield to those. Somebody calls and keeps chatting for hours together. So the person who is wiser, who is into spiritual path, he starts sacrificing. So that way, there are so many ways a spiritual seeker will sacrifice. That's what Krishna says. He sacrifices, he controls his desires. That's how he sacrifices. He gives his material possessions, dravya yajna, jnana yajna, tapo yajna, and niyatahara, controlling by, he performs yajna by controlled diet, He performs yajna by pranayama. He describes, of course, apane, jivate, pranam, all that he says. So, like that, he has described various ways by which one can perform activities as yajna on the spiritual path, as a sacrifice, offering in the fire of sacrifice. So now he says, Evam Bahuvidha Yajna. All these different types of yajna, Vitata Brahmane Mukhe. Brahmane Mukhe means Brahma's mouth. What is Brahma's mouth? What does it indicate? It indicates Vedas. So Krishna says, this way, all these yajnas, depending on the individual tendencies, of course, that's understood. It's all described in the Vedas. And karmajan vidhitan sarvan eva jnatva vimokshase. Know that they are all born. All these yajnas are born of action only, isn't it? So you understand that karma leads to yajna. Knowing this, you will be free. Evam jnatva vimokshase. So all these different types of yajnas or sacrifices are, it's not in the no, we're not talking about that giving up, not that sacrifice. We're talking about the yajna per se, the process. All these different types of yajnas are described in the Vedas. All these dravya yajna, tapo yajna, jnana yajna, pranayama, all that. And know that all these are born of what? Actions. What are we doing? Actions day in and day out. From the morning, early morning, we wake up till night, we sleep, we are performing actions. So convert that into yajna, and these are very much sanctified. They are very, very sacred types of yajnas described in the Vedas. But we must have that right attitude of yajna. Only then this statement is appropriate. So he says this, all these actions are described as yajna in the Vedas. And if you understand this properly in the right way, then vimokshase, you will be free from the binding, free from binding. So now he is bringing the emphasis on the jnana, knowledge, which is to be gained through this understanding. He goes on telling how to, what is the relevance of that and how much it is important, and we can reach that through our activities. Shreyan Dravyamayat Yajnat Jnana Yajnah Parantapa. Sarvam Karmakhilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. Again, the importance of karma, action, work cannot be overlooked. He says, but he says, Shreyam Dravyamayat. So we described all that. No, Dravya Yajna is one of them. Dravya Yajna means when we perform Yajna, we give dana, material possessions. We give some land or cow or dresses. All these are given in the form of dana when we perform Yajna. So in Shreyan Dravyam, much more higher than this, the knowledge, the sacrifice of knowledge, the yajna of knowledge, jnana yajna, okay, is far superior. I will tell you what it means. It is far superior to the sacrifice of worldly possessions, O Partha. And all the karma culminate in knowledge. What is the meaning of this? So we feel charity is good. Yes, it is good. But anything, any yajna, commentary says, any yajna you do, they're all good. And in the previous shloka, he says, it's all described in the Vedas. That means even our teaching, as I said, treating, cooking, everything is yajna only. Whatever we do is yajna. But it should be performed in the yoga, and jnana yajna means the inquisitiveness to gain the knowledge. That is jnana yajna. I perform, I read, I understand, I go introspect through my actions only. But when I reach that stage, that is the highest yajna, jnana yajna parantapa. So if you understand, when we read Bhagavad Gita for an ordinary person like me, so we take up Bhagavad Gita so that we should understand how we should behave and how we should adjust to the surroundings, how we should accept people. So that gives, he describes that also at that level also. He says, do your action, do not expect any results. Nirashihi, nirmamo bhutva. Don't have too many expectations, because not everything will be according to you. It depends on what you have done. So again, we console ourselves, and that will give us, this is also jnana only. But this is a very, very elementary and a starting point for us. So we accept that, and we say, give up the results of the action. Don't expect, involve completely. All those uh, conditions for karma yoga, we start practicing, and we start accepting people. People are of different gunas, and we should try to become more sattvic. We should be more, forgiving. And once we understand this, no, these gunas, this is also knowledge. We understand people are of different they are in different stages of evolution. Some are tamasic, some are rajasic, but they're also working. So it's okay. We will put up with them. We will put up the boss with such bosses. We'll put up with such people at home. We'll put up with such colleagues. All that we have learned. So we have applied, and that is helping us to remain calm, reduce the stress, and then the karma. That's a little bit of none. Then after that, it says perform every action as yajna. That means we are giving a little more sanctity to the work that we do. Apart from learning to be peaceful, calm, everything. Now he took us to a little higher level, saying you perform it as yajna. Then among the yajnas, so he says, do everything. It's all given in Vedas. Then among the yajnas, now try to reach the knowledge. How it goes, he describes in the other shlokas. So reach that, and that becomes the ultimate. Actually, that is the highest state of evolution. That is the becoming one with him. And how it happens, he tells. So he says, Jnana Yajna is the ultimate. Try to be that, and that is what it is. So then he says, Tadvidhi, how to do that? But to get this knowledge, try to get this knowledge, Jnana Yajna, by certain ways. What are those? He says, Tadvidhi pranipatena, pariprashnena sevaya, upadekshanti te jnanam, jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So he says, know that, that is tat, that is Sachidananda, that is Parabrahma, that knowledge, superior, supreme knowledge, tat. No, tat vidhi, know that by how? Because in the previous shloka he says, Jnana yajna parantapa. Jnana yajna is the greatest. Now, how to do that? So, know that. How to do that? First, for that, you should know that, which is unseen Parabrahma, by salutation. Pranipatena is, some people call it as showing reverence, but actually it is, of bending down, salutations, actually reverence to spiritual masters. That means once you cleanse yourself with all these, the next stage will be the mind starts seeking for a spiritual guru. Learn it from a spiritual master. And not only that, be with him, and sevaya, you have to serve him, service to such great spiritual masters, and pariprashnena, questioning, asking, getting your doubts clarified. When you do that, when you approach them, when you salute them, upadekshanti, then they feel happy to share. Upadekshanti te jnanam. They will instruct you with that knowledge. These people, who are those jnaninaha, those who are learned, and tattvadarshinaha, those who have already seen or realized the supreme truth. That means we are speaking about the great seers like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Shankaracharya. Likewise, we have so many gurus. Now you see Kumbh Mela, so many have come for Kumbh Mela. 450 million people, so many saints who live in the Himalayas, who have been living for ages together, for years together. They say people are living for 1,000 years. Somebody has seen, many people are there. They have realized, but they are still they want to be here for the welfare of others. So these are Tattvadarshinaha. This is the ultimate. There are so many books written. Okay. So it depends at what stage we are. So this is very relevant because Krishna gives conditions. How you have to, this ultimate knowledge is like higher education. Okay. Higher education. Let us see how we can apply to this one. Whenever we have to get higher education, this is not like school teachers. It's not like school teaching. It is approaching some PhD guides or MD teachers or MSc PhD. It's like that. So we have learned the basics. Now through our karma yoga, bhakti yoga, we have thought that work should be like yajna. Then in this spiritual path, He is now taking us to the highest. So whenever you seek knowledge in any area, let us speak about our day to day, how we should approach our teachers or our guides, or what is the dynamics of a teacher and a student, higher education. I mean, I'm talking about, not about a school, or mentor mentee. Okay, we have mentors for so many things, and senior professors, university professors. So all these are teaching, but what should be the attitude of the learner? He should actually surrender himself and be open to learn from them. And he should not be questioning, doubting the ability of spiritual master. The questions should be with a curiosity, understanding, inquisitiveness, very well knowing that my guru is capable. I may not be able to understand, but I should not doubt him. To choosing a spiritual master itself should be done properly. Genuine spiritual masters, genuine gurus who really know. There you can test and select your gurus. Once you select, then you have to be totally surrendering before them. Similar to that, that's what I said. When you choose a PhD guide or MD guide or whatever, we find often students, it's very common, not only in medical, everywhere. Students are not, they're arrogant. They're arrogant. They're not committed. Even if they may be very intelligent, but they don't respect. In the Indian philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, Vedic traditions, the Guru Shishya Parampara is very, very unique, and the knowledge will never flow unless the student is not, he surrenders and he accepts the teacher. So this is what he says, Pranipatena. He says you have to. So here also Krishna says, you find a spiritual guru. Once you find him, you have to salute, surrender, and discard your ego and accept whatever he is telling. And it doesn't stop you from asking questions, because you must be charged, you must be stimulated, you must stimulate yourself to understand, not a blind following. The beauty of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says in the end, these are my views, although they are his rules, but he says, these are my views, you experiment, Arjuna, and then accept if you feel like accepting. So this much of freedom is given. But what are the conditions? The student must actually surrender, and then he must question, and he must sevaya. See, those days also, there used to be a guru in Gurukul. The students used to stay there. It used to be residential, and the students used to serve the masters. They used to do housework. They used to do cleaning. The Guru Patni, wife of the Guru, used to give them some homework, housework. That would shape their personality also. And they would take care of their Guru also, taking him outside or getting him food, taking his plates, like that. So even now, if there is no such arrangement as, they don't stay in teacher's house or whatever, they must be considerate towards the teacher's requirements. Sometimes the teacher is so senior, and sometimes he will not be able to manage few things. So these students must come forward and serve. That will, make the bondage very strong. And the dynamics, as I said, the flow of knowledge from the teacher to the student, it goes very well. It goes really well. And the teacher will be forced to bring out the best within him, and he teaches with a lot of love and affection. That is a kind of relationship we should have in higher education between the teacher and student, as given in Bhagavad Gita. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Then what happens is automatically. So even in Indian culture, we bow down before elders. So this can be applied that way also. In those circumstances also, we bow down before elders. We do namaskar. It is slowly coming down. They hugging is very good. No, absolutely no problem. But when you bow down, which was there previously in our ancient tradition, what happens is the person opposite to you, the whatever goodwill is there, automatically it flows down. He may not be your teacher, he may not be your parent, he may not be just an elderly person. You just bow down, touch his feet, because that experience would have taught him, life experience would have made him wiser. And he, as I said, he is compelled to give. Something forces him to give positive, blessings. I mean, he gives blessings, which is very, very positive. So that way, Krishna has, I think we should bring back that culture. So today we hug and all that, that's fine. That is love and affection. But this is one level above that hugging, I should say, because it's a different thing. I mean, it's a higher than the emotion of love and affection. This is basically for jnana, you can say. Okay. So that he says, salute, show the reverence, and do not show arrogant behavior. Pariprashnena is good, but not with the next one is next two shlokas. He comes to another conditions, another two three conditions. So that is how you can, he says, Arjuna, approach a teacher with reverence, serve him, do namaskar, salutations, bend down, and receive his blessings and his knowledge. यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम एवं यास्यसि पांडव येन भूतान्यशेषेण द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यथो मयि. Is going, as I said, he is taking the spiritual knowledge to the highest. So in this chapter, Krishna progresses very systematically from the basic requirements of karma. As I said, do your mandatory responsibilities. Do not do other things. Just do, and do not do vikarma, prohibited actions. Means unsocial, antisocial. Do not do that. Whatever is meant for you based on your role, do that. Do with the attitude of yoga, and then yajna, and through that now you go approach a spiritual master and get the jnana. He says, knowing this, once you are there with a spiritual master, this, see, we are all householders. At this stage, what we are trying to get is the best knowledge through Bhagavad Gita. So we can do that. When the time comes, maybe this birth or next birth or after so many births, then the mind says, now I should take this stand. And you will not be able to stay in this world. You will go in search of spiritual guru, and you may or may not be leaving the home. I have seen many people who are in the household, who will be doing household activities, and then they approach a spiritual guru, but you will not be able to do so much of seva as a person who just leaves his house and stays with the guru. How much he can do, we may not be able to do, but that is fine. But if you can get, today Ramakrishna Mission gives mantra diksha. Mantra diksha is, they give you mantra. There is a spiritual guru for you, and they give you method of meditation and a mantra to chant, right? So I have taken that 30 years back. So this is the intermediate. I mean, this is a stage which is in between. Neither we are completely, we are householders. We don't leave the house and go, but we are tuned to do meditation by which is given by a guru who is a very learned person. And we have chosen that guru based on his, we have observed and we have chosen, and it happened and it made a lot of changes. So like that, many are there. Ramakrishna Mission has given mantra diksha to thousands of people. Thousands, no, I should say lakhs of people in globally, not only in this country, globally. Initially, Sharda Mata used to give, then the disciples, and one of them is Swami Ranganathanandji, whose book I am referring. Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has given, Sharda Mata has given, and her disciples who are still, some of them are there, they're disciples of Ramakrishna order. These spiritual gurus, they go to Ramakrishna Mat or ashrams, spend 12 years as brahmacharya, and they do a lot of austerities, and that is how they get that jnana, and they become eligible to give mantra diksha. Mantra diksha is giving mantra. So that also is possible without leaving the household activities, without leaving our professional activities. Such mantra dikshas can be very, very handy to become more productive with least expectations, but growing well and helping others. And these are all the things which will follow if those meditations are done regularly. So he says, knowing that, now we are in the process, but once you know that, once you reach that complete jnana, Krishna says, knowing this, you will not be deluded. Deluded means that moha, delusion. That means we will have, as human beings, our knowledge is limited and we cannot see the world clearly. What does it mean? We still feel this is real, this is not an illusion. whatever we are observing, everything is God. I mean, there's a kind of, not a very clear vision about what is absolute truth. I hope you are understanding. But when you know this, that becomes very clear that whatever we are discussing now, like Parabrahma is there, this is all is Prakriti. I am not the doer. Now we are telling it to ourselves and we are trying to practice. But when you get that real knowledge, and with Guru's grace also, then you will become totally a realized soul. In other words, you will experience that realization. That is a real jnana. When you experience that absolute truth, and you will realize that Krishna is saying, Drakshasi Atmanyatho Mai. That means you will understand that I and you are one. There is no difference between the Jivatma and Paramatma. We become one. You start saying, oh Krishna, I am only Krishna. Krishna, you are only me. That's how. And it may not be like Krishna. It may be just a universal oneness that somebody experiences. I am talking theory. So you can approach some realized people. I think Sadhguru has mentioned in one of his uh, YouTube channels how he actually experienced this realization. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has experienced, Swami Vivekananda has. They're all realized souls. Sharda Mata also. Of course, Shankaracharya and all those people, Madhvacharya, all those, but they have a different, theories there. So he says this jnana, when you go to a spiritual master and you stay there and you surrender, you do his seva, then you will get that, and you do that yoga, practices, then you will get so much of that kind of knowledge, which will make you realize that everything is one. That means you go back to that state of Parabrahma, no Prakriti there, one. Everything is one. So such thoughts we should at least we are understanding this. That means ideally everything started from Parabrahma, which was one only. Then he differentiates into the Mahat Tattva, and that is his activity. It is his sport, they say, Leela, they say in Hindi or Sanskrit. It is his sport, that is his activity. He said that thought came to him, that thought, or he evolved into Mahatattva. And Mahatattva is a potential Prakriti. From there, everything got differentiated into human beings, plants, animals, different types of human beings, rishis, munis, everything. That comes in the future chapters. So the purpose is create that and then put a free will there and Jivatma into that. And humans particularly have to work using their buddhi and come back to reach me through their actions. This is the whole game plan of Sri Krishna. So now he is saying, do this, yajna, jnana, and then you will come back to me. That is what he wants. That's what he says. Actually, we need not wait. We can start working and trying to be compassionate. In other shlokas also he has told, isn't it? Trying to be more compassionate, more empathetic, trying to identify ourselves with other human beings, not only with other human beings, with other living things like trees, plants, animals, birds, insects. Actually, when you become a total jnani, you will become one with everything. So before that, we can start practicing. We can go the other way also. Therefore, if you see, even the United Nations, they have come forward with One Health. One Health. I think, Chaitali, are you aware of that? Community medicine people are aware, I think. Chaitali, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
One
Health
health.
concept. No, yeah. One Health is for humans, animals, isn't it? For
Yes.
others. So like that it is across the boundaries. So imagine there is no discrimination with race, caste, creed, class, species, nothing, no discrimination. So the world is moving towards that. It's also called inclusivity. We also use the word inclusivity. And this is already told. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we want everything, the entire, no geographical barriers also. In fact, I heard some sage, even the Sadhguruji also tells, we must think of humanity. Patriotism is good, but let's not have borders. Borders are good to defend against the evil. defend against evil alone. Otherwise, there shouldn't be any kind of differentiation from this country to that country, religion, caste wise, no differentiation, because humanity entirely is one. So, this jnana will take us there, number one, and we can start, thinking on those lines so that we live in harmony with people around us. When there is no difference between caste, community, species across, why should we bring difference of opinion or conflicts among ourselves at home, in the society, or in our workplace? There is no reason. I mean, that will, to some extent, such thoughts, at least to some extent, will give us peace of mind, because basically we understand we are both made of the same clay. We are both having the same Jivatman. Only thing is, he has chosen differently, I have chosen differently. Therefore, this difference of opinion, it's fine. I will look within and I will try to correct myself, and I will look forward. And the best way is to adapt myself, saying that this is law of nature, prakriti, and my activity within should be I mean, it should be fully, we should be fully active inside and try to evolve. So this concept of oneness is given in this shloka. And then next shloka says, api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamah sarvam jnanaplavenaiva vrujinam santarishyasi. Even if you are the worst sinner among all sinners, that means through this boat of spiritual knowledge, again I underline, Krishna is trying to bring jnana, sacrifice of knowledge, jnana yajna, highest goal for us. He is emphasizing on that. So he says, try to reach there, because if you want to, you feel I have done so many mistakes, even if you are the worst sinner among all sinners, through this boat of spiritual knowledge, you shall cross the ocean of sin or evil. Vrijinam is sin. Santarishyasi means it will be able to cross that, ocean of sin, ocean of evil. The knowledge is so powerful, he says. Knowledge is so powerful. How do you get that knowledge? Work as yajna. How do you do that yajna? Through your attitude. Change in attitude. Go to spiritual guru. Be in a yoga, atma bhava, all those. So simple for us. What we used to say, no, bhakti also is part of this only. Why not keep chanting Krishna, Krishna, Krishna? It's all his. I'm not the doer. I'm an instrument. And keep chanting. Chanting is the best way in Kali Yuga to be in yoga. Yogastha. Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha, be in the yoga sthiti, yoga stand. You take that attitude. How can we do? We are teaching. How can we do? When we start, we say, Krishna, this is, I'm going there. I'm just an instrument. You speak. After finishing, come and surrender. This is only yoga. Only thing is, it must be made as a habit. But when it is made as a habit, whether as a habit, then tremendous impact on our mind, peace of mind, calmness, good health, everything. So he says, keep doing this. As you do, you will reach this state of jnana. And once you get that, once you realize this, such jnana, as you start seeking such jnana, knowledge, spiritual knowledge, it will take you through all the evils. It will clear off. It will clear off this boat. He has used different terminologies. Very beautifully, he says. Somewhere he says it will cut. Now he says it will sail through. You are amidst all your wrongdoings in the past because you did not know it. Now you know. Now, Krishna, how do I get rid of this? Because I know that every time, if you have the ambition of not getting liberated, if you have the ambition of getting liberated, that's the highest state. So you will ask for this. So he says, if you want to be liberated, go for this jnana, and this will take you through, it will sail you through this ocean of sins and liberate you completely. Yathaidvamsi samadhognihi bhasmasat kurute arjuna jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tata. See, the same thing he tells in another way now. He says, just as the fire reduces all the fuel, that means you have put some sticks and wood into the fire, and when the fire burns, what happens to the wood? It is made into ashes. Just like that, that fire reduces all the fuel to ashes. This fire of spiritual knowledge burns all your karma. That is what we want, no? Why are we suffering? Why there is misery? Why somebody is troubling us in spite of doing so many good deeds? Nobody is understanding. Why we don't get understanding people? That is because we have behaved something in our karma. In spite of doing our good actions, good intentions, still we may not get. So that is because now I want to burn those. So go to Jnana Agni, Jnana Yajna, he says. And not only that, it will burn all your karma. And then we will not start harping and jumping again. No, it will give us a jnana so that this is not the real world for me. I have to, mentally give up this and go towards something else. Mentally, I mean, doing the same work, doing the same people, same profession, everything is same, but my mind will withdraw towards a higher thing, which will give us much more happiness. It will take us towards that bliss without abandoning our responsibilities. You will be going to that state, and one stage you will feel I don't have responsibilities, and you will go. That's a different state. Here he is saying that when this you get this knowledge. So different chapters he has highlighted different aspects. Bhakti also is similar, but bhakti also leads to jnana only. Bhakti also, chanting also is a yajna only. That also leads to jnana. Ultimately, you reach that knowledge of oneness. He says that will take away, that will reduce the fuel to ashes, just as the fire reduces the fuel to ashes. This knowledge will reduce all your karma, all your past karma, right? Nahi jnanena sadrusham पवित्रमिह विद्यते तत् स्वयं योग संसिद्धः कालेन आत्मनि विन्दति. There exists nothing in this world which is as purifying as knowledge. Once you become matured, once you get this spiritual knowledge, you become very, very, once you get this knowledge, you become very pure. That means knowledge is cleanser. And one who does constant practice of yoga in any form attains this within his heart in due course of time. Constantly when you practice this, no, then what happens is this purity comes with knowledge, pure mind, no differentiation. Enemy and friend and foe both are same. Sukha dukha both are same. Insult and appreciation both are same. You will start viewing, you'll become very pure, very compassionate, very empathetic, and you yourself will enjoy in bliss. So this knowledge, one more advantage of that, as a consequence or as a benefit of this jnana is you will become very pure. Now he is giving lot of importance to jnana in this chapter, which doesn't mean we'll forget. I mean, we'll go to other chapters and others are good. All are integrated. So jnana is extremely important. What is this jnana? It's not education. It's not qualification. This jnana is obtainable even by a very illiterate man. It is a wisdom. It is a maturity. You see in some villages, go to some, if you come from villages or small towns or something, go to the remotest of remote village. You may find some very senior in India, elderly lady, who manages the entire house, who will be working from morning 5 a.m. to night 12 p.m., taking care of the entire house with so many people, cooking, feeding them, cleaning, everything. An old elderly lady, aged lady, but she'll be smiling and she's always concerned about everybody. She's so matured. And you ask her, how come you can? It's okay. They are still young. They need to understand. This is a stand she'll be taking. That is wisdom. That is almost closer. These are the people who get jnana very easily because they have understood life in its reality. They understand why people behave, why the situations are like this. Once you understand the why, then it's easy to accept the situations, isn't it? So he says here, this jnana, and Swami Ramanathanji also says, the jnana is now spiritual knowledge is the wisdom which takes you to the ultimate realization of oneness. On the way, you become very matured. As you lead through that path, your behavior starts showing to others that you're a very matured person. You don't break your head unnecessarily. You don't want to get into petty things. So all that will come as a, side effect, good side effects, I should say. Side effects, but which are extremely good for the person and for the society also. So he says, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate. As you start moving also, your mind starts becoming very, very pure. And then if you constantly continue to practice yoga, one very important word, he says, kalenatmani. That means with the time. So with the time. we must understand and underline this word, Kalen Atmani. Such spiritual realization, such wisdom, it takes time. We should not hurry. Oh, I'm practicing so much. I'm doing this meditation. I'm doing karma yoga. Still, I'm facing difficulties. No, it would have definitely had its impact. See, I started working on my fasting blood glucose, and I reduced my carbs, everything, whatever triparty. I want to reverse actually. That's my aim. Next year, I want to reverse. I don't want to be on any medication. So, since I mean, that was one of the reason I took retirement from my regular services. I reduced sugar totally zero, sugarless tea, coffee, that was always there. I increased my vegetables and this thing. I keep on checking my fasting blood. Oh my God, it's still 160, 150. Sometimes I get 140. I'm so happy. I'm on still medication. But we must understand this diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is as a result of so many days of negligence. We have not taken care of our diet. We have not taken care of stress. We have not taken care of our physical activity. And now I'm expecting within a month it should reverse. How is it possible? I have to wait. It will take 1 year, 2 years, but my effort should continue. I should not immediately check and then say, get disappointed. No. So similarly, the spiritual path also, no. If we are attending this, definitely it would have had its impact. It will. I mean, it is I told you, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya, trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna always says, one step has tremendous impact. So whether it is physical, what I'm saying, that also is having an impact on my liver. My fatty liver will be regressing, but I should give time. So everything, Kale Atmani, every word actually is very nicely our Guru has put it in a very beautiful words. Actually, Kale Atmani means we have to waiting. When my Guruji used to tell, how will I know? When I started I was very curious. This is very fascinating. Like Jayachandra said, at different stages, when we were children, when we finished our graduation, whenever we go into little lows and we open Bhagavad Gita and start saying, is there any answer I can get for this? So I used to ask my Guru those days, how will I know that I have progressed? See, look at that, impatience. You don't have, I didn't know. And he said, it is like setting curds. Keep the curds. Will you set the curds? You heat the milk, make it warm, and then put the one drop of curds, mix it well, and close it. And it takes a minimum of 8 hours to set. Will you keep removing it, checking whether it has set? No, you should never do that. In fact, you should never do that. It's the simplest example he gave. You should never check for that. When the time comes, when it happens, it has to happen. There are so many conditions. No, even the curds also will not be set if SOPs are not followed. If you don't follow right procedures, it will not be set. Therefore, you must have patience. And this applies to any of our activities. If we have a goal, if this is very useful for even so many things in life. We must give time. We must have patience. Overnight, not possible. Fast food, not possible. That's why fast food is very dangerous, actually. So he says, uh, when you do that, then actually you will start feeling him within your heart. Who is there within our heart? That Jivatma. As I told, Jivatma is nothing but Paramatma trapped in our ego, samskar, ahankar, which has accumulated as a thick mantle over so many births. So when you start getting this knowledge, that breaks. And then he starts showing. And it seems in Upanishad, they say Brahman is described as Jnana Swarupa. Jnana Swarupa. That means the Jnana shows him. It reflects him. Brahma is Parabrahma, right? Now, he says the last three shlokas. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparaha samyatendriyaha. Jnanam latva param shantim achirena dhigacchati. Shantim achirena dhigacchati. One who has, now what are the other conditions? One who has devotion. Now I have started this path. I have started attending Gita or whatever, and I have started reading good books, listening to good YouTube lectures. So I must have faith in that. If that is my goal, if I've taken this path very seriously, I must have faith, isn't it? I must trust, basically. I must trust the process. I must trust that this will definitely lead me to something better in life, which I have chosen. And you give time, as we said. So one who has devotion, Shraddhavan, Labhate Jnana. Only when you have devotion, you will get Jnana. Applicable to any Jnana in life. Any education also. When you start your course, when you start your research, we start with hypothesis also. No, we have a hypothesis and we trust that this is going to be doing good. We may disprove it later. That's a different story. But we start with some fundamental hypothesis. So like that, he says, have a devotion. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tat paraha. That means tat is that again. Tat paraha. That means he's indulging himself in that yoga. And samyatendriya. That means he has controlled everything else. Whatever distracts. Indriya is what? Whatever is distracting from your goal. Jnanam labdha param shanti machirenati vachati. So one who has devotion and faith, he achieves the jnana. Simple. Having attained this, he will attain peace, absolute peace, undisturbing, and it is permanent. So today we will all have peace for a short while. Again we go back. Again we come back to spiritual learnings and again we apply that. Again there is peace. No, it's not like that. Once you get this jnana, it will burn all your karmas and there is a constant, consistent and sustained peace. It will not come back. It is forever, permanent peace. Now this Shraddha is extremely important. Shraddhavan, positive attitude and have patience towards the goal is extremely important. And disciplined energy, samyatendriya, is don't allow the energies to dissipate here and there. This is proper sattvic sadhana, which we can apply to our goals also. The same principles apply to our goals, whatever goals we have. What are our goals? Our relationship may be a goal, our promotions may be a goal, our research may be a goal, innovation may be a goal, or successful teaching may be a goal. Whatever it is, we must have these two things. One is we must believe in ourselves. That is only Shraddha. Believe in our effort, believe in the process, believe in the place where we are, and control, discipline our energies towards this. Swami Vivekananda used to take up one idea in life and make that idea is your focus, and you strive entire throughout your life towards that goal, and you will definitely be successful. So when we are striving towards that goal, we don't let our energies dissipate elsewhere. We should be focused. So this applies to students also, and anybody who wants to achieve, as I said, anything. You want to build a house, you want to build a good relationship, you want to sustain that relationship, anything, you should be focusing and disciplining energy. I remember one thing. I went to Kashi last week, and they say when you go to Kashi, you should give up something. So many times I lose temper in spite of all this. The intensity and frequency has come down though. So I was telling, what did you leave? I left anger. I have given up anger. Then I was observing myself. It has come down, but it's not zero because I am working on that. That is my goal. And it will take time. I told my people also, don't expect overnight. It will take time. And I'm working on that. And whenever something tries to trigger, I bring it back again and I am becoming aware. I'm not boasting, but it will take time. What I'm saying is through my own experience, these could be our goals also, short-term goals and all that. So Shraddha is extremely important and disciplined energy is important. Samyatendriya, Sanyama is control. Indriya is his sense organs and distractions. So control them. This is only Vairagya actually. Vairagya is developing detachment towards or disinterest towards things that come on the way of your goal. There is no Vairagya for goal. For goal, you have to be concentrating. But anything that comes on the way, you should develop a Vairagya. Then he says, Adnyascha, Ashraddha Dhanascha, Samshayatma Vinashyati. This is very beautiful. Nayam lokosmi na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha. He says Shraddha is important and Indriya Nigraha is important. Now he says the ignorant and those who ashraddha, those who don't have Shraddha, no devotion, and the ignorant and a person who's doubting, samshayatma, constantly doubting. I think I have exceeded time. Another 10 minutes, we should be able to wind up. Constantly doubting a person gets destroyed. Such a, just look into the, I mean, understand these words. Such a doubtful person will not have happiness either in this world or next. He will not have Nayam Lokos Minaparo. He will not get, he will not be suitable for this world or any other world, and nor he will be happy. He doesn't get Sukha also. Samshayatmana. So these, Swami Ranganathanji calls it a cynical persons. Agnyascha is ignorant. Ignorant means, as I said, not ignorant about the what education, the conventional, traditional education, that not that one. Ignorant is unintelligent. I told you about an old lady she is a knowledgeable person. They are considered as knowledgeable. Whereas ignorant is a person with no higher knowledge. Okay. There is no higher knowledge. There is no thinking of looking into something which can give me something higher, which can make me better. So you can call people who feel the whole world is against me. These are all the ignorant people. They don't know that something higher is there, something is happening with a purpose. They don't there is no reflection, there is no introspection. There's only expectation that the world has to be good to me. These are the thinkings of an ignorant person. And also these are the thinkings of a samshayatma, one who doubts. Such people are doubting anything and everything under the sun. They doubt their job, they doubt their relation, they doubt their organization, they doubt their institution, they doubt their parents' intentions. Everything is taken always with a negativity. And do not think this is an exaggeration. You also would have come across, I have come across people, ultra negative people. Anybody has any experience interacting with negative people? Pessimistic people, anybody? They just open their mouth and they talk negative. Oh, morning it rained so heavily. Morning it was so hot. When there is no, when it is very cold, they say there's no sunlight. When the sunlight comes, it is extremely hot. Cribbing, complaining, and doubting the system everywhere. And this is the attitude. Such people are not good in this world or any other world. Neither they are happy, nor they make others happy. So without trust, nothing is possible. So another instance I should say, see, when you go to doctors and when you put your children to institutions, if you don't trust those teachers, if you don't trust those institutions, if you don't trust a treating doctor, then how is anything going to work? 50% of the improvement in medical or in teaching comes from the trust. Everybody has some limitations, but when you show that trust, as we talked about Guru Shishya, here also between the doctor and patient, teacher and the student, there should be a mutual trust also. I mean, other way around also. The teacher also has to trust the student also has to trust the teacher. So, trust is the basic requirement in any kind of transactions, human transactions. It's a basic requirement. Without that, we are not going to thrive. Everything cannot be doubted. Even if there are mistakes committed, you should trust them, because the person doesn't intend to do mistakes, especially in these areas. I'm saying there are areas where people are totally not trustworthy. I'm not talking about those, but majority of the transactions depend on the trust. So we must be inquisitive, pariprashnena, but we should not show distrust. Now the last two slokas. Yoga sanyasta karmana, jnana sanchinna samshayam, atmavantana karmani, nibaddanti dhananjaya, tasmat ajnana sambhutam, vritsnam jnanasinatmanaha, chitvainam samshayam yogam atishta uttishta bharata. So beautifully he says, with work renounced by yoga, what does it mean? Give up the results. Doubts dispelled by knowledge, O Dhananjaya, actions do not bind. Knowledge, he says, again, you get that knowledge by yoga, karma yoga, reach that state where you get the knowledge. Once you get this knowledge, it will totally clear off your binding of karma. Bind it. So Swami Sarvapriyananda always, he says, it can happen anytime. This realization can happen to you and I at this moment. He keeps telling that. Once he had come to Indian Institute of Science, so he was telling that anytime, just by this knowledge, and it can happen. It seems anybody can become, just that is a deep inquiry and control of sense organs or distractions and going with it. So it depends on your homework, how much you have done. So such a person is free and he is liberated. So you are relieved of those karma, Arjuna. And even if you are performing actions, day-to-day activities, you are liberated person because you have got the knowledge of the self. Therefore, O Bharata, cut this doubt of self arisen in your heart due to ignorance with this word of knowledge and arise. Uttishta, get up, he says. Get up means he's one is he's physically sitting because his bow and arrow are down. Second thing is he has given up that action. He doesn't want to fight. And third thing is he says, Uttishta, get this knowledge. Uttishta is a very powerful word. Uttishtata jagrata prapyavara nibodhata. This is a very powerful statement given by Upanishads, which says, arise, awake, and approaching the noble people, enlighten yourself. Uttishtata. Uttishtata jagrata prapyavara nibodhata. This is very powerful statement in Ramakrishna mission functions and all. Uh, very commonly stated, very powerfully stated, frequently stated. And the Swami Vivekananda's statement is, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Depending on our evolution, our goals can be set. But the ultimate goal is to reach that jnana through our activities, through yoga, through karmendriya nigraha, through avoiding distractions, happiness, with love, with affection, with compassion, and as much as possible trying to get a spiritual guru. And spiritual guru we will get once it is time for that. They say once it is time, the guru himself comes, you will get some guru. So we are all in that preparatory stage, so that will happen. Saying that, we will conclude today's session. Open for discussions, another 5 minutes maybe, because I have taken a lot of your time. So anybody has any doubt, you can ask or you can add. Where do we start from? Suvarchala, youngest.
Ma'am, every time myself.
If you didn't ask, I'll point out, I'll ask you to ask questions. Pariprashnena sevaya. Pariprashnena. Ask Krishna only. What is the doubt? Because he is only speaking. If I don't know, I will find out and let you know.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody has? Yeah. Anything. If you have. I'm just joking.
Ma'am, in one movie, actually, one Telugu movie is there. There they'll say, Desha Bhakti is more than Daiva Bhakti. I think it's not true, maybe.
To one stage, it is good. Until one stage, it's good. As I told you, you must protect your mother and motherland. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. Mother and motherland must be always protected against the evils. Desha Bhakti should not become fanaticism. You understand? You should not say only my country is great, all other countries are of no use. That is a very uh, foolish thing to talk.
Yeah.
But when some evil forces are there, that time Desha Bhakti becomes more than Daiva Bhakti. First you act, be on the field. Don't sit doing japa. It's a time to act. This is the meaning of that.
Okay,
Correct?
yeah.
You should understand with the context. Desha Bhakti is good, ma. Desha Bhakti should be there. See, don't you protect defense is there, no? Body defense,
Yeah.
family defense. Like that, every country should be defended against the invaders or destroyers. If there's a good relation, I cannot say I don't want to come and approach you because my desha, I will be to help you to myself. I don't want to. No, that's not the thing. That time we must extend our support and we must be one as a humanity. But if somebody is showing this one, that time no, leave everything. That becomes your puja, fighting against evil intentions.
Yes.
That is the way it should be taken.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, yeah.
Anybody else?
Ma'am,
Padmini, anything? Yeah.
Suprabhata also, in Venkateshwara Suprabhata also, this word Uttishta will come, no?
Uttishta. Uttishta is get up actually.
Yes, yes.
Uttishta is get up. So there, Bhakta, no, he puts a god to sleep, he wakes him. Even in ISKCON, if you see, no, they put at night, the relationship between devotee and the Lord is like, you're like my father, you're like any other human only, superhuman. So he'll put him to sleep. If you see ISKCON temples, no, they put switch off the light, they put some blankets, like that they treat the god. So Uttishta, like that, Uttishta, get up. So everybody should get up. So the real meaning of Uttishta is become aware of the presence of God. Prapyavara nibodha. Uttishtata is Atma Darshana. Okay, self-aware realization. Realization of the self is Uttishta is referred to that actually.
Ma'am, 29 shloka you told in last class, you will say
Oh,
again.
yeah. Little more time you give me. Next class.
Okay.
Yeah, it is indeed very deep. So next time, definitely, I will come prepared with that. Okay.
Sure.
Anybody else? I will start with that
Now,
only. In the
Jnana Yoga is the highest form of